One of the great rivalries in all of sports and the fans gathering. The Cubs, the Cardinals, game number 2 of a 4-game set starts now on Fox Sports Midwest.
Absolutely beautiful night for baseball here in the Gateway City, Busch Stadium. Well over 40,000 expected tonight as the St. Louis Cardinals, back to 20 games above 500, play host to the Chicago Cubs. Adam Wainwright looks like the Cy Young Award winner of the first half, maybe the starter for the All-Star game. Tonight, looking for victory number 11 in 2013. And welcome to St. Louis Cardinals baseball. My partner tonight, Rick Horton. I'm Dan McLaughlin. When you look at this Cardinals team, not many times do you see them lose, certainly not many times back-to-back. So, Rick, a win last night. We'll see if that carries over to game number 2.
Well, the Cardinals weren't great in Miami, Dan, but they overcame it here in game 1 of this homestand. They were terrific. Shelby Miller was terrific against the Chicago Cubs, and they beat their best starter, too, the left-hander Travis Wood, and they got another good pitcher going tonight.
That's Jeff Samardzija. Hard-throwing right-hander. He'll get the start for the Cubs, and for the St. Louis Cardinals, Adam Wainwright. Cubs-Cardinals coming up tonight on Fox Sports Midwest.
.40 innings of work, including 2 shutouts. We thought it'd be fun to take a look back at the 6 career shutouts for the Cardinals starter, Adam Wainwright.
swing and a miss. Wainwright, another strikeout. Complete game for Adam Wainwright. His first career complete game shutout. Wainwright goes the distance. Masterful performance and win number 16. It only took 110 pitches. That is a nasty breaking ball that time. Curveball and a strikeout. Wainwright goes the distance. A 4-hit shutout.
Good fastball on the inside corner. Swing and a miss on a breaking pitch. And that's exactly what Adam Wainwright does. His 4th career shutout.
Got him on the outside corner. Got him! 12 strikeouts as Wainwright goes the distance. But he starts. What about Jeff Samardzija? Samardzija has gone the distance one time this year. Complete game against the crosstown rival Chicago White Sox. And this was in late May. 9 innings, only 2 hits allowed. He struck out 8. The Cardinals face the righty tonight. And Yadier Molina, who's in the lineup and leading the league in hitting at .355 overall, has had very good success against Samardzija. Edging closer to our first pitch. Edward Mejica picked up the save. He's been perfect in that department. The Cardinals back to 20 games above the 500 mark. When you look at the top save leaders as far as being perfect this year in Major League Baseball, Grant Balfour of the Oakland A's, he has 17 for 7 for the Major League lead and the National League lead at 25. And then Edward Mejica, the perfect 20 for 20. That's a look at your closers that are still perfect thus far in this 2013 campaign. We hope to see him again tonight. Edward Mejica and the Cardinals take on the Cubs next. To you by Budweiser. Great times are waiting. Designated driver. See your Mid-America Chevy dealer or log on to stlchevy.com. Dobbs Tire and Auto Centers, #1 for quality tires and expert auto service. Save big money at Menards on all your home improvement needs. And by Steak and Shake. Steak and Shake, just no equal. The south side of the stadium. Folks making their way to Busch Stadium. Live look as the Cardinals getting set to play in Game 2 and host, the Chicago Cubs. Chicago has really been struggling at 28-40 already, 16 games back of St. Louis. Luis Valbuena will lead it off, their third baseman, then Starlin Castro, Nate Schierholtz, Alfonso Soriano, Ryan Sweeney, Cody Ransom to start in place of Anthony Rizzo at first base. Wellington Castillo, the catcher, Darwin Barney at second, and the pitchers, Jeff Samardzija. Cardinals defensively around the horn, brought to you by Dobbs, with Holiday, Jay, and Beltran in the outfield, Freeze, Cosma on the left side, and Carpenter and Craig on the right side of the infield. Yachty's behind the plate. Adam Wainwright has won 5 straight. And don't freeze up on us, because we've got baseball and Mike Matheny trying to make it 2 in a row over the Cubs.
Well, Mike Matheny has to like what he's seen out of his club this year. You mentioned 20 games over 500. That's their high water mark. Chance to get to the highest point of the season. And you just wonder just how good this Cardinal team can be this year. Every time we run into a new ball club, they say, wow, your guys are good. How about all those young arms? How about that number of Adam Wainwright of 10-3. I mean, they just absolutely are amazed at what this Cardinal team is able to produce night after night, and just wonder how far they can go. Wainwright, 2.18 ERA, and Adam just 6-5 in his career against the Cubs, but you can throw that out the window. He is clearly the favorite here tonight, but you still have to get it done.
And those numbers on Adam Wainwright presented by Kia. So the team leading 15th start. Last season he was 0-1 with an ERA over 6 in 4 starts against Chicago. In many ways, you throw out last season. Chance for Adam just to get back into the groove of pitching every day coming off surgery.
And he has a chance to get his 100th strikeout before his 10th walk. Very few pitchers in the history of this game could say that.
Luis Valbuena, the third baseman for Chicago, hitting .247, and the first pitch is a strike. You're right, Rick. That's something that has stood out from the first pitch of the season from Adam Wainwright. Strike after strike. He's been efficient. Doesn't walk many. Little floater out to shallow left center and caught by John Jay. Brings in the shortstop, Starlin Castro. Castro has played in a ton of games consecutively, leading the National League, 200 plus in that category. But this season, Rick, he's hitting .241, and if you're Dale Swaim, who was ejected last night, you wonder at what point do you approach a young player and say, look, respect the fact you want to play every day, but yet for your development and sometimes to get yourself going, take a day off, regroup mentally and physically, and come back in game 3.
I think you approach a veteran player and you just tell a young player. You don't really leave it up to them because they don't have the experience to know what you know. Dale Swaim played 12 years of Major League Baseball and had a couple of pretty good years with the Milwaukee Brewers, and he's in charge, and he's the kind of guy that's not afraid to say what he thinks, and I don't really think it should be a matter of asking him. You tell him.
Career .297 hitter. There's the cutter from Adam Wainwright. Jamie Quirk, nearly 20 years that he played in the big leagues, 11 with Kansas City.
Yeah, so you don't want to tell him? Tell Jamie to tell him.
Chris Bosio.
Get somebody.
Rob Deere, who's the assistant hitting coach.
Tell him in unison.
You're sitting. Here's a 1-2 pitch. On a hop to short, Pete Kozma. Joy. Around Chicago, with this being a rebuilding season, Nate Shearholtz has made a case for the All-Star game. Their everyday right fielder, who's matched his career high already in home runs that he set back in 2011. He has 9, 26 RBIs, and hitting .297. And he also brings 2 championship rings to the San Francisco Giants. From the Giants to the Cubs, as that's taken just a little bit low.
Castro just now getting back to the Cubs dugout after hitting a solid one-hopper to first. Wainwright actually had to wait to deliver the first pitch to Shearholtz for Castro to get off the field. So there's another example of the guy's tired, give him a day off.
2 balls and no strikes. Alfonso Soriano on deck. 2 outs and nobody on for Chicago. That's sliced fair over the head of Freeze and cut off by Holiday. Shearholtz digging for 2 and in there safely. Stand-up double with 2 down. A place where Chicago has been awful this year is with runners in scoring position. As a matter of fact, the last 4 games at Busch Stadium against St. Louis, the Chevy pitch tracks showed that right down the middle, maybe a little bit low, and that extends his hitting streak. But the Cubs now 1 for 14 the last 4 games with runners in scoring position against St. Louis.
Cardinals first in the league, hitting over .340. The Cubs last in the National League.
Key strikeout last night was Alfonso Soriano. Game on the line late.
That was Trevor Rosenthal after giving up a couple of hits. But you noted very well that Soriano continues to be a dangerous hitter. Guys can have low averages, but there's just something about the power that they have or the streakiness that sometimes can occur with a hitter like Alfonso Soriano, and he's also a guy that's a good mistake hitter. Wainwright hangs a curveball to him. He's not a very good breaking ball hitter, but you hang one, he'll hit it.
2 balls and 1 strike. 7-time All-Star. Began his career in Japan. Signed out of the Dominican. Then eventually came over to join the Yankees. He was part of the Alex Rodriguez deal to Texas. And that's a strike as Soriano gave up on it. Catches the inside corner, and it's 2-2.
This is a reaction you see in sandlots. Not normally from a big league hitter, where they just kind of get mesmerized by a curveball, but this is not your normal curveball. Wainwright has a very big break to it.
Shearholtz, the runner at second base, and a 2-2 pitch.
Unless he's doing a Jim Edmonds and setting him up.
We've seen that before, haven't we?
Oh, yeah. George Hendrick did it quite a bit. I think Willie McGee did it sometimes by accident.
Yeah.
You'd throw him a nasty curveball, he'd miss it by 2 feet. You'd throw the same pitch and you'd hit a bullet off the left center field wall. Still one of our favorites, wouldn't you say?
Oh, yeah. We'll have a Willie McGee giveaway coming up later this season, and we hope that Willie will join us here at the ballpark. Now part of the front office of the Cardinals, special assistant to the GM, along with Ryan Franklin. Cal Eldred now in uniform and roving the minor leagues. You'll see him occasionally at a big league game. A 3-2 pitch. Here it comes. Wainwright to Soriano, and he hits a rope into left center field. Cubs get on the board. Alfonso Soriano with the RBI double. His 30th RBI. 1-0 Chicago here in the first.
Adam has been stingy with runs here at home. Cubs get on the board first. RBI number 30. Pitch middle in. Decent location. Soriano looked like he was looking for that ball in.
And now it's Sweeney. And that's tapped foul. Center fielder David DeJesus injured last week, so Sweeney a chance to play every day. Cubs inside this division, it's been a struggle. In the Central, they are 8-22. Outside the division, played okay. Actually, right around that 500 mark. Two outs, runner at second, and here's a 1-1 pitch. High fly ball, deep right field, and this ball is gone. A 3-run lead for the Cubs here in the first. Sweeney, his second home run, RBI 6 and 7. And all this done with 2 outs against Adam Wainwright.
I would say it's a pretty short list of people who would stand up and say, I saw this coming here in the first inning. After 2 quick outs, cutter hangs a bit, down and in. Again, looked like Sweeney was looking for that pitch middle in. Just his second home run. And very surprising 3 spot on the board against Wainwright here in the first.
Just the 3rd home run allowed by Adam Wainwright this season. So we got the first 2, then back-to-back doubles, and a home run by Sweeney. Here's Cody Ransom. 1 ball, 1 strike. Keep an eye on the Pirates and Reds. Matt Latos making that start for Cincinnati. 32 pitches in the first for Latos, and a 3-run lead for Pittsburgh. Here's a 1-1.
occasionally you'll see a pitcher that will get the first two guys out in the first inning of a game, get a runner on base, and then lose it. And you might say, well, maybe they're having trouble because they're now working out of the stretch, and maybe their mechanics are off. But Wainwright has made a big point about throwing a lot of pitches when he warms up for a start from the stretch. He wants to make sure he's right from the stretch. He does it in between innings. He does it when he's warming up in the bullpen. So I don't think that's the issue with him, but we've seen that with other pitchers before. All of a sudden, something bad happens, and then it just gets worse and worse and worse because their mechanics are off.
3-1 the count. Pitch number 23 of the inning. High fly ball out to deep left. Holiday back, and the Cubs go back to back. 4 runs against Wainwright here in the top of the first. Now I'll officially say it. No one saw this coming. Eighth home run for Ransom. 15th RBI. And no doubt about it.
Got belt high. Our Plaza Tire Service replay. No one saw it coming, including, I would guess, the Chicago Cubs.
So at least a 4-run lead for Samardzija when he takes to the mound for Chicago in the bottom of the first. And although he has struggled last 3 starts, he still has very respectable numbers. High strikeouts, hard thrower. It can be tough. Fastball that is strike 2, Castillo.
Samardzija not really used to a lot of run support. New territory for him. And a little bit of new territory for Adam Wainwright. How do you kind of adjust from here and say, okay, I gave up 4. I can't do anything about that now. Not happy about it, clearly. But I got to find a way to go 6 innings and give up 4 runs. Give my team a chance to win. And you're fighting all the demons in your head, trying to figure out how did that just happen. You're fighting the emotions of the moment, frustration, maybe even anger.
That's rolling, and all that spin, it's foul. So in 1 half inning here, Adam Wainwright has given up as many home runs that he had allowed the entire season. And the pitch count at 27. A couple times we've seen that look from Wainwright tonight, shaking his head.
Well, I think we're all stunned, and so is he. And so are they.
One and 2 the count with 2 outs and nobody on for Chicago. Breaking ball hit to short. Cosma to his left. The Cubs put up a 4 spot for Jeff Samardzija here in the first inning at Busch Stadium. Holliday, followed by Craig, Molina, Freeze, Jay, Cosma, and Adam Wainwright. Cubs defense, 50-plus errors. They committed 2 last night. Some changes for them with Ransom at first base. Castillo to start behind home plate to catch Jeff Samardzija. That's a look at your defense, brought to you by Dobbs, and the numbers for the righty and the former wide receiver out of Notre Dame.
The ERA good, the win-loss record probably not indicative of how good he's been for the Cubs. He had a shutout against the Chicago White Sox this year and has a really overpowering split at times, and typically works deep into games, throws hard, really good athlete, fields his position, swings the bat, and has a 4-run lead.
Carpenter, his average at 316. Plus fastball from this righty. Been walking a lot of hitters he's seen since that complete game. There's the 95-mile-an-hour fastball, and that's been a concern for Chicago. Carpenter to Castro, the diving catch on the outfield grass, and there's one away. Take a look at our keys to the game presentation of Toyota. Jeff Samardzija has a lot of swing and miss stuff, doesn't he?
27.7% of the time. It's actually second most in the National League. The Cardinals, on the other hand, don't swing and miss very often, less than 20% of the time. So our Toyota key, who's going to win out in that battle?
Beltran into right center. Extra bases. One hop off the wall, and Carlos on his way to second base with a 1-out double.
For all the take a lot of pitches fan club, and there's a bunch of people that do think that way. They think you should always work a deep count in every single at bat. You don't want to watch Carlos Beltran. The two-seamer from Samardzija, a Plaza Tire Service replay, jumps right on it because it's a hittable pitch for him. Looking for something in the middle of the plate. Why take it? Might be the best pitch you have to hit the entire at-bat.
Another reason why, and it may be part of the game plan offensively for St. Louis against this righty, as Holliday digs in for the first time. Teams have been really aggressive early in counts, to the tune of a 422 average on those first pitches and 3 home runs.
Well, that's what fits, is he's got the swing and miss stuff, but that happens once he gets deep in the count, once he gets ahead. Now he's going to go nasty on you and going to throw that split in the dirt. You can't lay off the high fastball, and so jump on him before he gets to that spot. The first good fastball you have to swing at, let it rip.
A couple of hops to third, 2 away. Samardzija, big guy too. 5th-round pick in 2006. 6'5", 225 pounds, from the state of Indiana. And last year was his first season as a full-time starter. Went 9-13. He led their club with 180 strikeouts and was shut down in early September. So he was on his way to 200 Ks and potentially a 10-win season on a bad club. Here's Alan Craig.
Craig has been very productive with the RBIs, but home runs a bit fewer than last year. 6 home runs to go along with those 52 RBIs, and he has, in all of baseball, the most RBIs with less than 10 home runs. Mike Napoli, Freddie Freeman on that list.
0-1 pitch. Make it 0-2. When Samardzija was drafted, he dropped in the draft because many believed he was headed to the National Football League. Then the Cubs signed him to a 5-year contract. At the tail end of that deal, there were options for 2 seasons. He's up after this year. Saw the numbers there for Craig. 429 with runners in scoring position. Outfield is deep, straight away. Craig puts it on the ground towards second. Handled easily by Darwin Barney. No errors this season. Cardinals strand Beltran. They trail 4-0. One is coming up in early August. All the news, highlights, sporting events coming August 17th. Fox Sports 1. Adam Wainwright, 4 runs in the first inning to the Cubs. He had allowed 4 first-inning runs all season before tonight.
Large crowd here is a bit stunned. Kind of tell there's a little murmuring going on here at the ballpark. Fair number of Cub fans here.
This place is packed.
And we were amazed how well the crowd hung with the game here last night with all the rain we had. An hour 59 rain delay, yet a lot of seats were filled here last night.
It's Barney, Samardzija, then Valbuena. On average for this homestand, we're expecting crowds minimum at 42,000 for the entire homestand. We've got Texas this weekend. That should be a good matchup. And the Rangers snapped their losing skid last night. Currently 39-31.
They're trailing late in that game, and they'd lost 6 straight.
Slowly hit towards second, and Carpenter makes the play. Do you remember watching the Cubs pitcher as a wide receiver?
I do.
Pretty darn good.
Tall,
great athlete.
Very lanky, tall, fast.
Just 2 hits in 21 at-bats this year. Here's the 0-1 pitch. Cardinals have played so well. They have pitched so well. When something like this happens, it's like, uh-oh, what's going on? Is he hurt? Is there something wrong? Is he tipping pitches? So, after that first inning, what did you see from Adam Wainwright?
He didn't execute pitches the way he wanted to. And it's still a game. It's still something you have to do pitch after pitch. And, you know, you wonder when a guy walks somebody, you say, well, how could he have walked somebody? The real question is, how could he throw so many strikes before he walked that guy?
2 away. Reminder that when we see the Marlins be July 5th, 6th, and 7th, that Saturday is the Matt Holliday replica jersey giveaway presented by Tickets.com. Also that weekend, the Friday night features the Mike Shannon bobblehead, and then Christian Day, Duck Dynasty, Willie Robertson will be here on Sunday. That's also the porch flag giveaway on Sunday too. Valbuena flying to center, first time up, takes a pitch low. Inserted into the top spot in this lineup, due in large part to the amount of walks that he has received. Out to deep right, and that one hops off the wall. A 2-out double. Exactly what we saw in the first. He got the first 2 and then the double.
5 hits in this game for the Cubs, all of them for extra bases. 2-out double for Shearholtz, got it started in the first inning. Soriano followed with a double and 2 home runs after that. And again, that's pitch location. You're asking the question, what's Adam doing wrong? Well, he's not making the pitch where he wants to in the strike zone, and it's not a control problem in terms of walking people, but it's a control problem within the strike zone.
2 outs, runner at second, and Castro looks at a strike. 529 hits already in his young career. Those came in his first 3 big league seasons. Modern day franchise record for the Cubs. Signed a 7-year deal, club option for an 8th season. And that was done last August. So he's locked up. Anthony Rizzo is locked up. Then you walk the fine line of having young players that are on teams that are rebuilding. How do they learn how to win?
You can spoil a young player if you're not careful.
1-2. Castro grounded out to short, first time up. 3 things that you need to know about this youngster. Longest active in the National League, his consecutive games played streak. Here's the hits that we talked about, and also youngest player to debut at shortstop for the Cubs when he was 20 years of age, 44 days. Fly ball lifted into right. Beltran has it, and the Cubs strand Valbuena at second base. Molina, Freese, and Jay due up when we come back. your neighborhood hometown grocer. And now's your chance to go big at Jack in the Box. Try Jack's Big Stack Burger. 2 jumbo patties stacked with onion rings, cheese, and pickles. Dale Lopino of our FSN crew gets ready for the game, and then during the lunch break they head just outside the ballpark, and that's one of his hidden talents. Yeah, wow, Dale, nicely done.
Multi-talented.
Sure is.
It's not as easy as it looks.
No.
Way to go, Dale.
It's tough. 1 ball, 1 strike on Yadier Molina. He knows what that feels like in checking on his counterpart behind home plate. Some catchers have that helmet that has the bill of the helmet. Not so much with the catcher used here by Castillo. There's some that believe that through studies they found that those masks are actually better than the hockey style masks. But the traditional one that you see there has a little bit more give and padding than the hockey mask that some of the catchers wear now.
Undergone a lot of changes over the years, as has the chest protector and the shin guards, and no matter what they do, there's still times where you get hit in spots that are vulnerable. Like take one off the throwing hand, off the bicep. We've seen that a couple of times. And even if you take a direct hit off a foul ball off your mask, no matter what kind of mask you're wearing, it's still going to get jarred. We've seen that a couple of times in this series, even with the home plate umpire.
2 balls and 2 strikes. 4-run lead for Chicago. Yadi at 355 to lead the National League. And that's a base hit to left. You know, Molina had the RBI double that scored 2 in the 4th last night. It's now 22 doubles, tied for second in that department for Molina, and an awful lot of multi-hit games, as this replay brought to you by Plaza Tire Service.
Spinning breaking ball, and he jumped on it in the inner half.
In steps David Freese.
He's also hit Samardzija very well. You look at the Cardinals who hit him the best: Yadier Molina, John Jay on that list.
David Freese with base hits in 24 of the last 25 games. He had 20 consecutive. Longest streak this year in the big leagues. You get through this season, obviously, Rick, but then you take a hard look at next spring training, next year. Colton Wong coming on up. You have a Matt Carpenter, who right now is clearly your everyday second baseman. Descalso coming off the bench. But Carpenter also can play third. So slow start by Freese, but now he says, you know what? I don't want to go anywhere. I want to come back here and play year after year. Good problem to have.
A lot of Cardinal fans would like that to be the fact.
Slowly hit to third, may have broken his bat. Out at second, and the turn by Darwin Barney for the double play. As Yadi went into Barney, clean play, trying to break up that double play. Goes 5-4-3.
Take a look at that play at second base, a little slow in developing, and then Yadi goes in, and really a clean slide there right to the bag. Barney at least able to get his foot off the ground and didn't get it caught underneath Molina, and that's really the issue for a middle infielder. Make sure you get your feet moving and keep that from getting pinned, because that's where the injuries happen. You roll up on a leg or you get your foot pinned underneath. Molina has some results of that play as well.
0-1 pitch to John Jay.
Think they can find him a new pair of pants?
I would think so. You know, the thing is, too, Daniel Murphy's a good example of the Mets when he went to second base, and exactly what you're talking about is the concern the Cardinals had with Matt Carpenter going to second.
Agreed.
Once that pitch up, Jay stays away. 1-2. on the inside corner. And a strikeout of John Jay. So here it is again as we head to break. The Hyundai replay and the turn by Barney. Cubs on top after 2. St. Louis. It's a warm evening. We saw that last night. Played a factor in Shelby Miller's start. With more on that, let's turn it over to Jim Hayes. Jim.
Yeah, Shelby's cramping is sort of a cautionary tale as the Cardinal training staff continues to push players to stay hydrated. One of the trainers told me that for every hour of competition for a typical professional athlete, they should drink 25 to 30 ounces of some sort of electrolyte-laden liquid. They say athletes should start hydrating hours before a game. In the case of a starting pitcher, start the night before, sometimes 2 nights before. And the Cardinals have a number of products that replace electrolytes, including, guys, one developed by NASA, so some high-tech stuff.
This is Nate Shearholtz at the plate. And Jim, last night it was a cramp with Shelby Miller, so nothing more to that. And the issues in the right leg. Cardinals just wanted to be very cautious with him. Shelby was saying that he probably could have extended himself in the game, but as you found out, Jim, Mike Matheny and the brain trust of the Cardinals down there said, you know what, too valuable. Let's just not get him injured, get him out of there.
Yeah, once the training staff got a look at Shelby, they decided it wasn't worth the risk, the kind of season he's having, so they erred on the side of caution. And again, they use it to tell other guys, you got to stay hydrated.
Thank you, Jim. And Shelby picked up win number 8 in his 5 innings of work last night. 1 ball and 2 strikes for Shearholtz, who doubled to left first time up. Evens it up at 2-2.
So interesting that the game has evolved from the way players used to hydrate, and that used to be after the game, and they would hydrate differently. And NASA had nothing to do with that hydration, but I think we've come to understand that that's actually a dehydrating choice for an athlete, and you need to take care of your body. And what they've learned about what Jim's talking about of keeping guys at tip-top physical condition is really advanced greatly.
Shearholtz grounding out to Alec Craig. And don't forget, MLB.com features MLB at bat. #1 source for live baseball everywhere you go. Text at bat to 31826 or visit Cardinals.com for details. If you have that, you would know that Matt Latos has lasted just 5 innings for Cincinnati tonight. They trail 3-0 to Pittsburgh. These guys keep themselves in phenomenal condition. With Soriano in the hole, 0-1.
Individualized workout programs, weightlifting for all players on different schedules. If you're a pitcher or if you're an everyday player or a bench player, really starts in spring training. Actually, doesn't start in spring training. Starts in the offseason.
About a week after the season ends, players are in the weight room
doing something. They can't really stay away from it very long. You should allow some period of time to heal a bit. Some of the bumps and bruises that you get throughout the course of a season, and rest is part of, as any physical therapist or personal trainer will tell you. I mean, rest is part of the regimen, and you have to do that at the right time. Yachty came to spring training in outstanding shape, and I think it's paying off for him.
Absolutely. Here's a 1-2 pitch. Breaking ball and slowly hit to the right side. Wainwright takes it himself, steps on the bag, and that's out number 2. Found it interesting that we were in Miami this weekend. Rick and I hopped in a cab with some Cardinal fans to go back to the team hotel, and they're very, very kind in doing that. However, they asked about the players and what they do as far as meals and the time of night, when do they eat, and it brings me to the point of the team chef. There's a chef for the Cardinals, and they're trying to keep these guys in the best condition they can. The investment is just so high, it's so great, it makes sense.
And the choices that you have for pregame meals and postgame meals are very well thought out, even on the airplane. No kind of high fat, high carb choices. A lot of protein certainly, but the right kind of protein. That players try to eat clean the best they can. And it doesn't mean they're perfect at it, but I think the goal is, if you can extend your career one more month, forget one more year, one more month, what does that mean to you as an athlete, to get to play this game as long as you can? And for them, the reality is other players are doing it, and if you don't, you're going to get behind.
Carpenter goes through tremendous workout running the stairs. He and Brad Penny had a program a few years ago that those two each had their individual programs, came together with one, and Chris Carpenter has kept himself in great condition. Ooh, just missed on the inside corner. Swung on and missed. Strikeout for Adam Wainwright, his first of the night. And let's see if he starts to settle in. Matt Harvey, by the way, took a no-hitter into the 7th of his game against Atlanta today. Clayton Kershaw, sensational. Shelby Miller, 8 wins. Corbin started out 9-0. And the big right-hander named Adam Wainwright also on that list.
2 Cardinals on that list, and of those 5 guys, I think they're all good choices, frankly. And we're going to vote with our hearts, I'm sure, for our St. Louis broadcast in the AT&T Twitter poll. But I think if you were to ask nationally, I think those would be the 5 guys on that list, and it'd be interesting to see what the national response would be.
Cosma, high chopper. Valbuena, the long throw, and out at first. Luis Valbuena stayed with it, makes the play, and there's one away here in the bottom of the 3rd.
Thought this had a chance of sneaking over the head of Valbuena. Played a little second base, a little third base. Again, getting a chance to be in that leadoff spot because of the injury to David DeJesus, who, by the way, more than any Cub had hit Wainwright well. So it was actually not good news, but good that he wasn't in the lineup today. But the Cubs have clearly gotten to Adam in the early going, a 4-run first.
Also, what's dictated with that starter of the All-Star game, both sides, if that starter, let's just take for example, if Wainwright would start the Sunday prior to the game, then it's up to the organization and the player whether or not they want to squeeze an inning out of him. Wainwright started play tonight, 4th in ERA, 1st in wins in the National League. Also in the top 5 of strikeouts, so might be your first half Cy Young Award winner and starter for the All-Star game before it's all said and done. Roughly 4 or 5 starts left before the All-Star game for Adam Wainwright. 2-1 pitch.
And you reminded us last night on our telecast that it counts.
This one counts. You can watch that on Fox. And outside the host city, St. Louis gets the largest rating. No surprise here for the All-Star game of any market in the country. That'll be July 16th on Fox. Here's a 3-2. Barney to his right, circles that baseball and makes the play. So this was coming into action tonight. Not updated, but right now you may have the Cy Young Award winner certainly in the conversation, Adam Wainwright, and certainly in the conversation for Rookie of the Year, Shelby Miller.
All 5 deserving. Kershaw with the best ERA, but playing on a team where kind of difficult to get some wins. Not a lot of run support for him. But Wainwright has had the best of both worlds. He's got the right team he's on. He's pitched well. Unfortunately, today he's buried himself in a hole, just hoping his offense can bail him out.
1 ball, 1 strike on Carpenter.
Certainly very possible.
Lined out short, first time up. 4 more runs of support. It's only happened 7 times for Samardzija this season. Carpenter a ground ball, and Barney, nice play. The bad hop from the outfield grass. He throws out his counterpart. Ahead to the fourth. You're seeing why Darwin Barney won a Gold Glove, and the Cubs defense solid this inning.
Starts with Valbuena, the third baseman. He robs Pete Kozma. That's how the inning started, and we see some range for Barney. First he goes to his right. That's not a simple play. And this one even harder as the short hop bounces up going to his left. Barney very, very good with the glove. He's also been hitting well lately.
Home run last night. Ransom, Castillo, and Barney for Chicago. There's a high fly ball into right center. John Jay with room. One pitch and one away. Ransom, who homered first time up, now 1 for 2. In steps Castillo. Pitch count at 58 for Adam Wainwright. Cardinals will have a decision coming up. Fernando Salas is now back in the minor leagues and starting to have a rehab assignment.
It will not be a decision that needs to be made anytime soon. However, they're going to have at least 3 weeks, I believe, before they have to make a decision on what to do with Fernando Salas. And I'm just glad he's back pitching again. I'm sure he is too. We've had a number of shots of him in the dugout. You see Garcia, you see Carpenter, and you see Jason Mott. And we also had a couple cameos of Rafael Furcal in Miami, and you know that's not easy to do. Come to the ballpark and sit in the dugout and watch and know you can't really contribute.
Liner out to center. Jay makes the catch. Ball carried a little bit on him. Try the new Egg White Delight McMuffin. Only 250 calories and only at McDonald's. Also, Chris Carpenter, a setback in trying to come back and pitch this season. The good news is it had nothing to do with his arm.
Right.
It had everything to do with his back. And John Mozeliak actually was at that bullpen that Carpenter threw. That was on Sunday morning and threw the ball very well. So they're not overly concerned, but it was the back and not the arm. One ball, one strike on Barney with 2 outs, nobody on. The 8th place hitter for Dale Swain. Dale was ejected last night, and for good reason. And by the way, he was right in arguing, as Yachty later came out and said, I was out.
Well, all the Cardinals looked at it on the replay and they realized that Yachty was in fact out. But I find it funny that many of the fans who would love to have instant replay and use it insist that Yachty was safe. I mean, they watch the same replay we did, and that's the problem with looking at the replay. You watch it with the lens that really you care about, and you'll watch the same exact play, and we see some at first base, and there are times where you and I will see a play in slow motion, and we'll look at each other, and you'll say out and I'll say safe. It's not, even with the replay, always conclusive.
So you're saying you're a proponent of replay?
If that's what you want to get out of what I just said, I'd like to have a replay of what I just said. Yeah.
As Wainwright strikes out Darwin Barney, his second of the night. And we're midway through 4 at Busch Stadium. Cardinals need some offense. Make your appointment now for the Cardinals and Fox Sports Midwest American Red Cross Blood Drive Wednesday, Thursday at locations across the St. Louis area. Make your appointment. Call 1-800-RED-CROSS or go to redcrossblood.org. Enter sponsor code CARDS. Samardzija has been given this 4-run lead, and he hasn't disappointed. Just 2 hits allowed.
I'm going to have to ask a current player if it's still kind of a little superstition or activity that players will do, that when you haven't kind of gotten any hits against somebody, you just go over to the bat rack and start kind of like kicking the bats around, and the thought is you need to just wake them up. And that was always it's pretty much a typical occurrence in many ballparks throughout the country. Certainly in the minor leagues, teams did that a lot. Even at the big league level, just go kick the bat rack a little bit, rustle them up, make some noise, move them around. Look how dormant they are. Let's get some energy. Come on. Sometimes you have to talk to them, Dan.
I'm sure they're listening. Beltran double back in the first.
You're looking at me like I'm crazy.
No, I do that to get you guys ready for the broadcast. You and Al. Kick you guys, shake you. Let's go. Get it going. Wake up. Beltran could send a jolt through this stadium. Even in his age, advanced age, if you want to say that in baseball terms, his hands are so quick, lightning quick. You just don't see him get beat a lot of times on fastballs.
Good vision, then quick hands. Because your hands can be quick to the wrong spot. So what? So he's able to pick up the ball well. All good hitters can.
And he shoots this one down the left field line. It's slicing, and it is a foul ball.
Just barely. Wow, not by much.
Craig is in the hole. Holiday on deck. Here's a 3-2 pitch. And a leadoff walk to Carlos Beltran.
Good look at Alan Craig. You know, he's got to get ready long before it's his time to step to the plate. He's thinking and watching Samardzija. How's he look this inning? He knows he's the third hitter up this inning, and he hopes he's hitting with runners on base, as he's done so much this season. Then you get the pine tar out. Put the weight on the bat. Get everything loose.
It does bring up the point is Holiday falls behind 0-1. Watching a pitcher, what he's doing right now in this game at this moment, as opposed to relying so heavily on video.
So he's not even in the on-deck circle. He's moved very close to behind home plate, as many players do, so he gets an even better view of what Samardzija is doing tonight.
Oh, 2 the count, and a look at last pitch. Missouri Lottery Fox Tracks.
Some of it's going to be timing for Alan Craig. But how hard's he throwing? And a player doesn't need a gun. A player doesn't really need. He just needs his eyes. Has he got good zip or not? Is he getting up in the zone? Where's the ball coming out of?
Jammed him. Slowly hit towards second. Beltran now in a rundown. Heads up play by Barney. And it's a double play. That's how you do it.
Exactly how you do it.
It's happening so quickly, and you see even major league players rush They don't think the play through. Barney did this perfectly.
Barney does the right thing. Beltran does the right thing. He knows he's going to just get tagged, so you might as well stop and get in a rundown because the double play is going to happen. He's going to get tagged and he's going to throw to first. So you get in a rundown. They get the out at first and no throw on the rundown, even better. So well handled by Ransom, who's played a lot of different infield positions. That's the way to do a rundown.
So 2 outs, nobody on for Alan Craig. Cardinals just 2 base hits. Both have been doubles. One by Beltran, the other by Yadier Molina. Craig grounded out to second, first time up. That's 9 ground ball outs for Samardzija, along with a strikeout and 1 walk.
So all the preparation for Alan Craig comes down to this. He's thought about Samardzija. He's seen him pitch to a couple of his teammates. Situation not what he wanted. He would have preferred there to be runners aboard. Often have to wait 3 innings before you get a chance to hit. And if you're Alan Craig, how many seconds or minutes are you actually even standing at the plate with an opportunity to hit in a 9-inning game? You up there for a minute and a half?
And that swung on and missed. Samardzija is through 4. Pair of strikeouts, no runs allowed, and just 2 hits. 4-zip Chicago. Wainwright and Samardzija, the 2 pitchers of record. Charter high-speed pitch. Samardzija's hit 97. Wainwright 93 tonight. And again, that's brought to you by Charter. And Jeff Samardzija leads it off here in the 5th inning for the Cubs. Then we'll see Valbuena and Castro. The big inning, the 1st inning. Wainwright got the first 2 outs. Valbuena, Castro, a fly out, a ground out, then back-to-back doubles, back-to-back home runs, and a 4-run Chicago Cubs lead. Samardzija, first time up, popped out to second. Outfield is deep and straight away. Quickly, 2 strikes, nothing in 2.
Nice visit from Tom Lawless and his family up here in the booth, and Tom evidently heard through the grapevine that I had been kind of dogging him on that important home run that he hit in the World Series, saying he only hit at 331. He came up looking for a little revenge.
Good. He deserved it.
He's a little feisty.
I wonder who told him about that.
Did you really?
I ran into him earlier. I had to tell him.
Oh, now I get the rest of the story.
Are you going to put up with that from Horton? Here's Valbuena and then Castro. And we ran into each other prior to the game, and I said, you know, we were talking about you last night. And he said, I know when you guys are talking about me because my phone starts ringing off the hook. There's a strike on the inside corner. Valbuena is 1 for 2 with a double back in the second inning. Tom Mee, our director, was taking those shots of the hitters in the on-deck circle. Anytime we talk about that, it's hard not to think about Juan Encarnacion. I was here that night.
Yeah.
Aaron Miles was the hitter. Encarnacion, by the way, doing well, we understand, and has his own foundation, which is doing some really neat things for kids down in Florida and also in the Dominican. Here's Starlin Castro. That was a scary night.
Oh, boy.
After that, the Cardinals actually put netting up down by the green seats. They had their normal backstop, and then they extended netting near the camera well. Here's a good breaking ball to Castro, who's 0 for 2.
Really, essentially lost his career, but he really could have lost a lot more than that. And
yeah,
he just concerned about his quality of life going forward. And I asked Jose Oquendo about him not long after that. And one of the things he said about Encarnacion, which we had not known, because he wasn't a guy that when he was a Cardinal was real talkative necessarily, but he was a guy that owned multiple businesses in the Dominican, was really kind of a real estate mogul, and had done very well with some companies and some investments. So at least not a concern on that level. Just really wanted him to have his eyesight.
Catch made by Beltran in a 1-2-3 inning for Waino. Let's get this offense rolling. Down in history here at Busch Stadium. That's coming up. Well, you never see Mike smiling or laughing, do we? That's coming up on the 5th. And Jim Jackson there, the producer, engineer, there on the left. Happy birthday to Jim Jackson. Won't find a nicer man in our business, and very talented. So happy birthday to Jim Jackson. I'd like to say the same thing about Tom Mee, but I don't believe it. But I will say happy birthday to Tom. I don't know if he's the nicest or most talented.
So Lou Brock, Jim Jackson, and Tom Mee. And yes, all three talented in their own very special way.
Ball taken by Molina. Tom is extremely talented. One of the best in baseball. That pitch is taken for a strike. Got to see how good he is on getaway day. Tom is just really certain talents you just can't teach. Just born with it. Here's a 1-2. Oh, and Molina is hit by the pitch. Off speed pitch, it got away. Maybe that wakes up this offense tonight. 83 miles an hour. And so Molina is the Cardinals' first base runner since the double back in the second by Yachty.
So the answer to the question that everybody's thinking right now is no.
It's not intentional. Is that what you're thinking?
I believe there's a question.
People are thinking?
I believe there's that question out there. And, you know, people have made something of Yachty's hard slide at the plate. Yesterday, he had the hard slide in at second base on Darwin Barney. Today, so sometimes you add up 1 and 1, and you add up 1 plus 1, and it equals 100. But in this case, I would say if Samardzija was going to do that, it wouldn't be with a breaking pitch.
Want to know the count on David Freese, who bounced into a 5-4-3 double play first time up. And he bounces into a 6-4-3 double play second time up.
Yachty again going in hard at second base. Same pair of pants with the rip in it. This time Barney got out of the way a little quicker.
So Jim Jackson, Tom Mee, happy birthday. Two very fine people in our business. And the great Lou Brock, the Hall of Famer, 74 years young today.
Guess he did change his pants. They look similar to the other pair.
No rip this time as Jay fights it off, and Valbuena having issues on those choppers off his glove, maybe the heel of the glove. And with 2 outs, the Cardinals have a base runner, and Jay is given a base hit on that play.
Second time that Yachty has gone in hard on Darwin Barney. Here's the slide. It's a late slide. And wonder what those looks were all
maybe
about.
something did carry over a little bit from the first slide, and then Yachty getting hit. But again, Yachty, it was a 1-2 pitch at 83 miles an hour. Samardzija is going to hit him. It's a fastball earlier in the count. Correct?
That's what I think.
Remember also the slide last night with Wood at the plate. Little shove. Here's Pete Kozma, and he looks at a strike. Cardinals with just 3 hits tonight. Chicago 5 base hits, 4 of those in the first. Very efficient night for Samardzija. To the count on Pete Kozma. Outfield shallow for Pete, too. Wainwright on deck. Last time out for this right-hander, really labored through 6 innings against Cincinnati. 10 hits, 4 walks. It was a 6-5 win for Chicago. 6 innings of work.
Pete Kozma hit over 300 on that last road trip, and you and I both saw that, and I would say we had the same reaction. A bit surprised. Pete's not at 100% right now in terms of where we've seen him offensively, but yet he's finding a way to pick up some hits when he needs them. And the word I keep using for him that folks may get tired of hearing, but I think it just defines him, is steady.
Prescient sleeve worn by Pete Kozma, if you're wondering, and many of the pitchers will do that between starts. It's just a way to keep the arm fresh, warm, so to speak.
And there are times where it may be tender a bit as well,
even for a position player.
Well, they throw a lot too.
John Jay on his throwing arm. Two-two pitch.
John Mabry doing a great job as hitting coach for the Cardinals, an assistant a year ago, man in charge this year, and team swinging the bat very well.
Strikeout number 3 for Samardzija. The quit line, 1-800-QUIT-NOW. Cardinals trailing in this ball game 4-0 as the first inning, at least the top half, seemed to really set the tone in this game with the 4 runs, and then Samardzija has been very good tonight.
Samardzija's been good, but Wainwright's been good since then, and he's given his team a chance. And we talked in that first inning about that's really all you can do at that point. You can kind of fold up your tent and go home if you want, but that doesn't really help your team at all. You've got to find a way to get into the 6th or 7th inning with your team reasonably in this game. And Samardzija is certainly sharp tonight, only 3 Cardinal hits, but Cardinals are a couple of gappers, a walk, and a big fly away from tying this game.
Shearholtz, Soriano, and Sweeney. Underway here in the top of the 6th. Pirates have added a run in their ball game, 4-0 over Cincinnati. That's in the top of the 8th. 1-0 pitch. Cardinals leading the Reds start of play tonight by 2.5 games. Pittsburgh 4 out.
Adam has retired 13 of the last 14 batters he's faced. Command much better after that first, and sometimes you just have to give the Cubs a little credit. You hate to do that, but you don't want to overthink it either.
It's been such a great rivalry throughout the years, and it's really the fans that make this special rivalry that it is. Well over 40,000 tonight. Always fun for our fans to go to Wrigley Field in Chicago.
I would say it took a good 4 or 5 years for me to understand, my first 4 or 5 years in St. Louis, to understand the Cub-Cardinal rivalry. I didn't really see them as natural rivalries on the field. Players had no animosity towards the Cubs at the time, but there's certainly history that preceded the 80s and some subsequent history, but really it's about the fans and the two great cities kind of vying for the throne.
What a great deal on Cardinals tickets. Phillips at Phillips 66 with 8 gallons or more now until June 30th. You'll receive up to 50% off on a pair of tickets to a Cardinals home game. For more information, visit cardinals.com/Phillips66. Here's Soriano. When you played, it was a vicious rivalry on the field, Mets Cardinals.
Right.
No doubt about it. Right now, Cardinals and Reds has that feel to it.
It was the Astros for a while.
Yep. But that has always been kind of the friendly rivalry in which there's great respect and admiration between the two teams.
Agreed.
Edwin Jackson, the former Cardinal, part of the 2011 World Champions.
The former a lot of things.
Yeah. Get in line, right? Budweiser, what's on tap?
He can tell you about rivalries.
Edwin Jackson, he's been a part of every rivalry in the history of baseball, including that Tampa Bay Marlins back and forth that they have in interleague play. Uh-oh. Deep right. A lot of top spin, so that'll stay in the ballpark. One hops off the wall, and Sweeney in with a stand-up double. I think about the Cubs Cardinals and the rivalry with Dusty and Tony. That seemed to take it to a different level, and Sosa McGuire was fun, but those were some great games. 2002 and 3 and 4, 5. Sweeney a 2-hit night with a home run and a double, and it brings in Cody Ransom.
Wainwright working in the 6th inning, still hasn't walked a batter and still hasn't given up a single.
Odd line, isn't it? 6 hits, all have been extra base hits, and he is due up first for the Cardinals in the bottom of this inning.
All 6 hits with 2 outs.
Swung on and missed. and swung on and missed again. It's another breaking ball and a strikeout for Adam Wainwright. And steel available exclusively at a servicing steel dealer. Visit steeldealers.com. Beautiful night for baseball, and Adam Wainwright hitting for himself here in the bottom of the 6th. Still a long way to go in this game, and Adam at 87 pitches, so maybe you squeeze 1 if not 2 more innings out of him, depending on how efficient he can be against the bottom of the order coming up.
Yeah, he went 7 innings in his last outing, and he was really terrific in that game against the Mets, a team that he normally doesn't pitch well against. Cubs also not really his best team either. 6-5 record with an ERA of 4.46 for a guy who has a career ERA just over 3. But the fact that he settled down, I'm okay with Wainwright hitting, and add the fact that he swings the bat pretty well to the equation. I'm okay with it.
Here's a 1-2.
Samardzija has a lively fastball. Been a much better road pitcher than a home pitcher. ERA under 3 on the road.
And nice play. Valbuena down at third and takes the hit away from Adam Wainwright. A couple of plays that looked to be routine, struggled with, and that time he comes up with a very fine play to his left. Fox Sports proud to team with Feeding America, a nationwide network of food banks that helps feed more than 37 million people in America each year through pantries, soup kitchens, and shelters. Visit feedingamerica.org/Fox Sports to learn how you can fight hunger in your community. Together, we're feeding America. Wainwright got down the line.
Sure did.
Pretty quickly there.
Just about a step.
Carpenter pops it up. Shallow left, and Castro, the shortstop, puts it away for out number 2.
Carpenter now 0 for his last 14.
Yeah, a little bit of a funk right now.
Pitch location to Carpenter. Down and in. Pulls off it a little bit.
Not to say that this is the case now as Beltran takes a ball outside, but I'm sure the Cardinals will keep a very watchful eye on Matt Carpenter because he has been grinding since literally January.
Been grinding since he was in 5th grade.
Yeah. Find ways to keep him fresh. Descalso has been very good off the bench and can back up 3 spots.
Mike Matheny has a challenge in Matt Carpenter because Carpenter's a guy that's going to work his way out of anything, maybe overwork, and that's a good thing and a bad thing. Skip Schumacher was a little bit like that.
Beltran down the right field line. It is hooking, and it's fair. Boy, did that get out quickly. Cardinals get on the board. An absolute rocket off the bat of Carlos Beltran. His 17th home run. He's driven in 45.
People love to have the argument about whether it should be called a fair pull or a foul pull. I think I'm going to start calling it a Beltran pull. That's the 2nd time that he's done this within the last week. Somehow manages to keep this ball fair. The balanced swing of Beltran, the extension, and off the Beltran pole.
I like it. 2 home runs on Saturday, both sides of the plate. One was off that Beltran pole.
See, it's catching on.
Can't say I can argue with a fan when they say, why do they call it the foul pole when it hits it and it's called fair?
That's the discussion.
What a year he's putting together already. Again, 17 home runs, 45 driven in. Now tied with Dick Allen. Up next, Ellis Burks. Slowly hit. Valbuena charges and gets Holiday. So the home run by Carlos Beltran gets St. Louis on the board. It's 4-1. shoulders whip package for Adam Wainwright tonight, Rick.
Well, a rough start for Wainwright, but he does come up with some strikeouts, cutter, and there's another cutter, and this the classic Wainwright 12-6 curveball. Adam still has not walked a batter in this game, and Wainwright with that third strikeout now has 100 on the season against just 9 walks.
Good cutter there. Just that 4-batter period in the first inning. Shearholt, Soriano, Sweeney, Ransom, back-to-back doubles, back-to-back home runs, difference in this game. Castillo at the plate. 1 ball, 1 strike. Very well could be the final inning of work here for Adam Wainwright.
That's probably the case.
There's strike 2.
Some stirring in the Cardinal bullpen. Nobody throwing yet, but guys are milling about. Kind of expecting that phone to ring, and various stages of stretching and preparation.
Cristuno lets us know of the Cardinals media relations department. Xavier Scruggs, who's at AA, 18 home runs now, 50 RBIs at AA. That'll get your attention.
Saw him hit 2 in a game in spring training into the teeth of a wind on field. I guess that's field 1 in the complex, where it's actually facing towards the Cardinals' main field at Roger Dean Stadium, and often the wind is blowing in from left field. Very difficult to get it out of there. He hit 2 bombs. Impressed me.
Also, Michael Wacha back on the mound after skipping a start, at least being pushed back. 4 scoreless innings, 4-hit baseball, 5 strikeouts at Round Rock tonight. Memphis leading that game by 3 runs. There's a broken bat. If anything, the bullpen of the Cardinals, Rick, is really shown the depth of the organization and the farm system, maybe more than anything.
It sure has, and that's the thing that's hardest to find. It's actually not as hard to find somebody that can throw 90 miles an hour plus, but getting somebody out's a different story. I've seen guys in the minor leagues that throw 98 miles an hour and don't get out of AA. And that doesn't happen a lot, but there's still an art to pitching. You can have a great gift, but you don't quite know how to pull it all together and use it.
A piece of the bat, I think, got the home plate umpire. It was odd how it broke.
Yeah.
It's Greg Houck, lead trainer for the Cardinals. He's been with us for a number of years.
Bill Welke is the crew chief. He says he's all right.
2-2 pitch to Castillo.
Now wait a minute. If you're all right, you got to call that a strike.
That's what I'm thinking too. Looked pretty good. It's lined out, grounded out. Now time is called. Top of the 7th, 4-1 Chicago.
The milling about has gotten a little more serious now in the Cardinals bullpen. Randy Choate has begun loosening up. For I wonder how many times in his career.
Ground ball that's hit to short. Pete Kozma, 1 away. FoxSportsMidwest.com, your home for Cardinals baseball news all season long. FoxSportsMidwest.com. Stan McNeil has an interesting piece on the Cardinals and the various players that have a chance to make it to the All-Star game, and it's quite a list. Strike 2, Darwin Barney. home run by Beltran. He is on his way to the All-Star game. I don't think there's any doubt.
Leading vote getter right now.
5th all-time in home runs among switch hitters. Mickey Mantle first at 536. Eddie Murray, Hall of Famer, 504. Chipper Jones, future Hall of Famer, 468. And when he was here, we talked about it. And we talk about it now with Carlos Beltran. But Lance Berkman at 365. And then Beltran at 351, both on the doorstep, potentially, of Cooperstown. Had a very candid conversation last year with Berkman. He said, look, and he was great because he'd give you the honest answer.
Right.
He said, I don't know if I'm in right now. Give me 2 more years. If I stay healthy, I think I'm in. He said, if I stay healthy, I hit 15, 20 home runs, maybe 25. As Barney reaches forward on an 0-2 pitch and delivers a base hit. Rick, get off the floor. I know you're shocked, stunned. Wainwright 55% and Shelby Miller number 2 on that list. The AT&T Twitter poll.
Nothing wrong with that.
Nope.
1 man, 1 vote. And 1 lady, 1 vote.
Have to think that the Cardinals being back home this week, that the All-Star votes for the Cardinals will skyrocket being back home. But wherever you may be, you can vote online.
We don't want to politic too much, but vote early, vote often.
Deadened by Samardzija, and C. Molina wanted to fire it to second base, but got the sure out. Willie Robertson, he is the star of Duck Dynasty on A&E. Look at that guy. We should ask Hungo to grow a beard. He and Willie could hook up and do the broadcast on a Sunday afternoon. Willie Robertson, Duck Dynasty star, be the post-game speaker for Christian Day at the ballpark.
It is without a doubt my goal that day to introduce Al Raboski to Willie Robertson.
So many things I want to say, but I'm just going to concentrate on Valbuena.
Probably a good idea.
Yeah, I'd like to stay employed.
Willie. Valbuena's had a nice day defensively and also has a 2-out double.
And positioned perfectly, Pete Kozma, 7th inning stretch time. Hungo, Willie Robertson, Christian Day, match made in heaven. in the National League this year. Carlos Gonzalez with 28. Then you have Yachty and Carpenter at 27. Alan Craig at 26. The Cardinals tonight, though, Rick, just 4 hits against this very tough righty of Chicago.
Yeah, Samardzija's been tough. He has a good fastball, but I think it's time to wake up those bats one more time. Beltran's 2-out home run in the 6th. The only damage the Cardinals have done, but certainly they have the firepower in their lineup to strike quickly.
Craig is 0 for 2 with the strikeout. 6 home runs, but 52 RBIs.
You don't really think of the 2013 Cardinals necessarily as a come-from-behind team, but I think the reason is the starting pitching has been so good, they haven't had to do it very much.
Broken bat as that baseball went into the Cubs dugout. Everybody's all right. 0-2 the count on Alan Craig. You see that, it still scares you that that's going to fly into the seats, and it's the maple bats, you see, that don't have the shattering propensity that the ash bat does. And a lot of times that thing's a spear. It gets so sharp. And again, we're talking about potentially a pitcher. Bat comes back and hits them, or a player, clearly, but the pitcher the closest to him, or a fan. Or a fan is the direction I was going. Strikeout of Craig. Strikeout number 4.
26 pitches, 95 or more. Again, the split finger really is strikeout pitch, but you have to set it up with something. And if you're throwing 95, that's a little more than just something. How do you throw a split? Sounds like an easy thing, but there's the split action. Down. Almost has a little slower spin to it, but you have the good strong arm action. In a lot of ways, the split finger is essentially a changeup.
He would say that too.
Yeah, and so you can call it whatever you want to call it. Jeff Suppan threw something. He had a different name for it, which name escapes me. I think he called it the Fosh ball or something like that, but it was kind of like a fork, and then the ball would just do what that just did. Just dies.
He called them home runs.
Sometimes. I miss Jeff Suppan in the Suppan word of the day. He'd give me a word every day.
2-1 pitch, and you would fit it in, right?
I would find a way to use it. And he couldn't wait to give me a word every day. And it was only when he was pitching. There'd be a Suppan word of the day.
Soup's a good guy, and you always have a little fun with him. That's why I made that comment, because he'd laugh right along with you.
You bet.
Up the middle, and a base hit by Yachty. On base 3 times tonight. 2 hits, hit by pitch, and in steps Freeze.
Front leg lifting, planting, good balance, good finish, and another multi-hit game. We just featured that with Yadier Molina. Talked about his multi-hit games, and he added another one.
Freeze has bounced into 2 double plays tonight.
That pitch looked down. Mild protest in his own way from David Freeze, and I can't blame him.
Outfield deep, straight away. Strike 2.
Now you protest some more.
It may have been up and in.
Both pitches out of the strike zone, and all of a sudden you're 0-2.
That's the displeased look.
Oh yeah,
of Mike Matheny. 1,132 attendance tonight. Molina now leading Major League Baseball at 364. And Yachty again with another multi-hit effort tonight. So moving up on that list as well. Tied for first with 28 of them. Tough night for Freese as he strikes out. Strikeout number 5 for Samardzija. Pitch count at 91.
David put in a hole in this at bat, so he has to expand his strike zone a little bit and has to offer at that pitch, which was pretty similar to the strike one location, and give Samardzija credit for doing what he does so well. We talked about it in the open, getting a swing and a miss.
Jay on the first pitch pops it up. Foul territory. Valbuena makes the catch. Cardinals strand a runner, and we're through 7. Cubs on top 4-1. The Bommarito Sports Update, Pat. All right, Pat, thanks. So all those strikeouts, and the Pirates still, though, find a way to win. Chevy called to the bullpen. Keith Butler, he of the very good changeup. Opponents hitting just 125 against Butler this year.
Very nice showing at the big league level for Keith Butler. He's been a closer at the minor league level. He's being used in situations very similar to this. Cardinals trailing, but still in a ball game, and his job is to keep this game where it is. 3-run deficit, couple innings to get at either Samardzija or the Cubs bullpen, and again, this bullpen's in a bit of disarray for the Cubs, so certainly some reasons for optimism.
Here's Starlin Castro. 2 flyouts and a ground out. Wainwright, 7 innings, 7 hits, 4 runs. All were earned in the first. No walks and 3 strikeouts. 104 pitches tonight. 71 were strikes. So Waino will not be an 11-game winner. Stuck currently at 10. Max Scherzer over at the American League of Detroit, 10-0. Hard throwing right-hander, Missouri product. A bright spot tonight, Yadier Molina. 2 hits, average up to a Major League best 364.
Best catcher's ERA in all of baseball, which you primarily would say is the pitchers doing their job, but certainly you got to give some of the credit to Yachty. A lot of the credit to Yachty for helping them along the way. Catchers starting to take pride in that stat a little more than they used to.
Rick, I was thinking about what the Cardinals have done in this great run of players that have left and guys that seem to be irreplaceable. One of those guys on the list, I thought, was Pujols.
Sure.
They have moved on, though, without him, replaced him. You look at Beltran and what he's done. Wainwright, let's say he didn't sign and wouldn't come back. As much as that would hurt, there's somebody down there that probably could replace him. Not at the level that he's at, but irreplaceable, meaning, you know, you just could not live without this guy. Right now, it's Molina, because you look at the minor league system of the Cardinals, there's not a catcher really there that's ready to step up and take that next step. Nor is there a guy that you say, well, he's a Hall of Fame caliber player. You know, Pujols, great player, unbelievable and unforgettable. But he has been replaced, and the numbers bear out that they've been replaced in terms of a combination of guys, but they're right there with what Albert's done in his first 2 years in Anaheim. The point being, I'm not so sure we would say the same thing if Yachty would leave. Where would the Cardinals be defensively and offensively at that spot?
They don't have their next guy yet in mind that's going to be kind of the star catcher, let's put it that way. I mean, I think you've got guys that can play. Tony Cruz has done a nice job as his backup, not picking on him, but the point of, you know, you're talking about an all-star quality, who's going to be your guy that's going to be one of the top catchers in all the game. I don't know that you have that waiting in the wings yet. And you hopefully don't have to worry about that for a while. Yachty stays healthy and continues, but you know, it's one of the great things about this game is, you know, there was a time where we were asking, you know, how do you replace Albert Pujols? Yes. And then there was a time you asked, how do you replace Bob Gibson? And then there was a time you asked, how do you replace Rogers Hornsby? And great players emerge.
Now the Pujols of 3, 4, 5, 06, irreplaceable. I'm talking about right now.
You mean fully replaceable,
right?
And I understand that. And
at that point in time, nobody.
Yet sometimes you just replace them with somebody different, and somebody that has a different talent. Pujols was the guy that really replaced, in some ways, Mark McGwire. I mean, Mark McGwire was the entire story of Cardinal baseball for a couple-year period. How do you replace Tony La Russa? And the question was asked at one point, how do you replace Whitey Herzog?
The 3-2 pitch, taken for a ball inside. This copyrighted telecast is presented by the authority of the Cardinals and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the St. Louis Cardinals. One out walk to Schierholtz, and now it's Soriano. RBI double in the first to get things going for the Cubs. His 30th run driven in this year. Top of the 8th, and it's 4-1. Butler would love the double play. 1-1 pitch. Taken for a strike. 1-2.
Well, it's no mystery. It was not a good start for Adam Wainwright in the first inning. 4 runs on 4 hits, all extra base hits, couple of home runs, but you really have to credit him for what he did after that. We're still talking about a game here in the 8th inning that the Cardinals have a chance to win because of what Wainwright was able to do. Kind of block out what had happened and just kind of affect change and move on, make an adjustment. He did it.
Soriano would love that pitch back. He was trying to park that on the street. Pops out to short. 2 away. In that Matt Holliday jersey coming up when we'll face the Marlins. Weekend of July 5th, 6th, and 7th. Shannon bobblehead on Friday night. Holiday jersey Saturday. And the porch flag and Christian Day on Sunday. Ryan Sweeney, the hitter. Home run and a double tonight. Takes a ball low and outside. Two outs, runner at first, and that floats in there for strike 1. Butler's spot is due up second for the Cardinals, looking ahead to the bottom of this inning. Cubs will still have to go through some pretty big bats in this lineup before it's all said and done. 1-1 pitch. Instead, a check on the runner at first. Kevin Gregg is in the back end of games for Chicago. Carlos Marmol blew a game Sunday against the Mets with a 3-run lead in the 9th. Gregg was unavailable. He had pitched a number of days in a row.
A little uncharacteristic for Butler to have fastball command problem here tonight, but he's struggling a bit. Yachty trying to coax him through it. Don't want to make a mistake to this guy. He's had a couple of very good at-bats, shown that he's a pull hitter.
Out in front on the changeup, long way to go, and Carpenter in foul territory puts it away. Mr. Steady last postseason. Again this year, it's Pete Kozma. I'm getting nervous. Listen to that music. He leads it off when we come back. Brought to you by Budweiser, the official beer of Major League Baseball. Great times are waiting. Grab some buds. And by Ford, the official cars and trucks of the St. Louis Cardinals. Matt Adams has moved to the on-deck circle. 92 pitches for Samardzija. And here is Pete Kozma. Cardinals with just 5 base hits against this righty. He's been tough.
Stirring now in the Cubs bullpen. Everybody all jumped up at once. They're manning their battle stations.
Kozma to short. Castro shows off the arm. Good play deep in the hole. Kozma hitless tonight. Nissan drive of the game. Off the Beltran pole in right. Nissan drive of the game.
Got a pitch middle in. Barely keeping it fair. Beltran home run number 17. RBI number 45. And that's really been the Cardinals offense today. Let's see if Matt Adams could get something going with one out here in the 8th inning. Not many base runners for the Cardinals against Samardzija. Lefty and a righty, both sides getting loose for Dale Swain.
Adams 6 for 18. A home run and 4 RBIs as a pinch hitter.
James Russell is the left-hander. The only left-hander that the Cubs have.
There's a changeup, 0-2. MC to season ticket holder event tonight, Rick, with John Mozeliak, and he was asked about Matt Adams from the crowd, and he said, I don't think the DH will ever happen in the National League. He said mostly it's been talked about from the media. He said, but I can tell you at GM and owners meetings it's something that's not really discussed, and he said I can tell you nor is it wanted, which really surprised me because we've been hearing an awful lot that next CBA, collective bargaining agreement, that Major League Baseball would take a really hard look at incorporating the DH in National League parks.
I've got to say, every place I've heard that has been generated from a media outlet.
Yeah,
you don't hear much talk about that directly from the people that are making that decision. So I'm surprised but glad.
Everybody was ready to give him a standing O when they heard that. But very interesting that John would say that. He said, we're talking about all kinds of things, rules and replay and what you do with the roster at the end of the season, but that's not talked about.
John Mozeliak does a great job not only directing this team, and he's put together really a great ball club this year along with Mike Matheny and all the others that go into doing that, but he's fun at those events, and you and I have been at a number of events where he's very open and honest.
Yes.
And he'll say what he's thinking, and he'll let fans, especially those fans that are in the kind of the close-knit sponsor group, or somebody that's got the season ticket holders. I mean, he'll tell them what he's thinking. He told a group of sponsors in spring training that there was a player, and then he stopped in mid-sentence because the guy was walking by. He said, well, he's not going to make the team. And he didn't want him to hear it. And guess what? He didn't.
Adams strikes out. And 6 tonight for Samardzija.
Catches the inside corner. Tough pitch to hit. Now, in fairness to John Mozeliak, he was a young player that he was talking about in positive terms and being a guy of the future with the Cardinals, but he just didn't want to burst his bubble just quite yet.
Sure. We've had plenty of those young players make an impact this year.
No doubt.
Here's Matt Carpenter. It's Michael Gersh, who was also in the box there with Mo and Dan Kantrovitz, who runs the draft now for St. Louis. There's Dan in the middle. Carpenter with a drive into deep right center field. Catch made. Scherholtz. Jump ahead to the ninth. Joe Kelly coming on when we come back.
Edition of Missouri Lottery Cardinals Live. Pat Paris and Al Roboski will be at Lumiere Place. The Cubs get 4 off Waino in the first. They'll look at that. A piece of history for Carlos Beltran. They'll have all the details, plus Mike Matheny's post-game comments as well. Joe Kelly takes over for the Cardinals. We head back to the booth, and Dan and Rick, guys.
All right, thank you, Jim. Looking forward to it. 4-1. Chicago with the lead here in game 2 of this 4-game set. Chevy called to the pen. Joe Kelly. Only 19 appearances this year for Joe.
He had some rough starts or rough appearances out of the bullpen in the start of the season, and that's why the ERA is over 5. But he's been working it down. Good appearance today. Probably get under 5, but Joe's pitched much better of late. Still has very good stuff. And a year ago, one of the unsung heroes, I believe, of this Cardinals team, because he pitched some important innings at a time where the Cardinals staff was struggling collectively. And I think he's a valuable guy to have because he can do a lot of different things. The time a year ago that people were talking about him as a potential closer. Who knows? Could be in his future. I wouldn't rule it out.
First pitch. It's slowly down the third base line. Freeze. Little help from Craig at first base. Nice pick.
Alan Craig has gotten very good at making this play. This is on the backhand, and does he have it? Oh my goodness, he just barely has that ball. It's not moving. One more look at this ball sticking in the glove. It's one of those things like a wide receiver. Did the ball move around in his hands or not before he dropped it, falling out of bounds? Pretty
Second pitch. And that's a base hit into right. Here's Darwin Barney. One out, runner at first. Single, strikeout, grounded out to second. Short lead at first, and that pitch is hit out to right. Beltran is there. 3 pitches, 3 balls that are put into play, 2 outs.
You announced the crowd early on, Dan, at 44,132, but we've actually had a correction in the attendance. Now that's a new one on me. They found 7 more people that actually have somehow come into the ballpark, so it's 44,139 for those of you scoring our attendance at home.
'96 right down the middle, 0-2. Good work, Joe Kelly. Beltran is homered tonight. He'll lead it off. Final hope for St. Louis coming up. And instead of leaving it up to the bullpen, Jeff Samardzija is going to try to finish this one off.
I'm kind of still rooting for the Adrian Chambers scampering across home plate with Carlos Marmol on the mound moment.
Wasn't that something?
I wanted to feel that moment one more time, so how about our truck coming up with it? Here's the moment. It's Marmol, wild pitch. Here comes Adrian Chambers, and everybody goes nuts. And that was a big win for the Cardinals, and big moment in the career of Adrian Chambers, still in the Cardinals organization, off to a rough start this year, but maybe we'll see him before it's over. We hope so.
Beltran is homered. Foul pole in right. 4-1 Chicago.
No signs of tiring for Samardzija, still at 96. Free and easy too.
Yep.
Samardzija very durable. Tough guy. We mentioned former football player. He had a start earlier this month where he actually had a cut on his finger and kept kind of working through that start.
Beltran reaching for it. Went away.
They tried to take him out. He was bleeding all over his uniform. They had to change his uniform 3 times, and he just kept pitching with that cut on his hand. And he is our Budweiser player of the game. He's through 8 1/3 innings and just 5 Cardinal hits. Beltran home run. All the offense for the Cardinals, and just 1 walk.
Broken bat, shallow left, late break, and it drops in. A hit for Holiday.
I'm not sure that late break is enough of a description on this ball. That ball's up in the air way too long. Soriano, of course, playing deep, but did not react quickly to that ball. Castro thought he might have a shot at it. So did Samardzija. A lot of different reactions there. Make it hurt.
Here is Craig. Samardzija has been outstanding tonight. His pitch count, though, is getting up there. It's at 110. It's a big play with that ball that drops in.
No doubt. That extends your pitch count. Typical batter, what, 4 or 5 more pitches, maybe more.
1 ball, 1 strike. Season high for Samardzija, 116. That was in his last outing.
Alan Craig doesn't have him figured out yet. He struck out twice, bounced out in the first. Trying to get that tying run to the plate somehow.
1-2 pitch. Inside, Molina's on deck. Wouldn't that be something?
The buzz starts when the tying run comes to the plate, because all baseball fans, 44,139 people here at the ballpark,
can count. They know if Molina's up with a couple of Cardinals aboard, that magic could happen. Almost hit it.
Base hit right side. Tying run comes to the plate. Samardzija out. It's up to the bullpen. Tying run. Molina comes to the plate. Call to the pen. Some of the Marlins. It's bounced around a bit. Now working as the closer for the Chicago Cubs.
Big part of his ability is his kind of awkward delivery, really a short armor, and doesn't have kind of the full extension back, just picks his arm up, throws almost like a catcher, but has a lot of experience in that closer role that you mentioned. And here's his moment with Yadier Molina, 1 for 6 with a strikeout against Gray.
Many of these fans, 44,000 plus on their feet. Molina's average at 364. Double single hit by pitch. The crowd's into it. Base hit right field. They'll wave in Holiday. Molina 3-hit night. David Freese will dig in. It's now 4-2.
Such a good hitter. Yadier Molina was down 0-2 in this count and gets a pitch he can handle. Holiday scores his 54th run of the season. Alan Craig had his first hit of the night. He's aboard, and the crowd reaction.
This has been one of the toughest nights of the year at the plate for David Freese. Bounced into 2 double plays. He is struck out. No pinch run for Yadi. 3-hit night. All Jeff Samardzija can do is look on and watch. Any Cubs fan is thinking about Sunday. They blew that 3-run lead against the Mets.
And it started with a 1-out jam shot fly ball to left by Matt Holliday that Soriano did not get a good jump on and ended up as a base hit.
Freese homered over the weekend. Opposite field shot against Miami. The tying runs are on. Winning run at the plate. Two balls, 1 strike. John Jay on deck. 3-1. Freese to second and out at second. Going in hard was Robinson, but they're going to say he was out. We'll have an argument here. And will that end the game? It will. It's interference, they're going to say, and that'll be it. This game is over. Freese bounces into his 3rd double play. Robinson, the interference, and with that, the game comes to an end.
Robinson gets a big jump. Taylor made double play. Here's his slide. Is he going at the base or the runner? Umpire at second base says that Robinson can't reach the second base bag with his hand. He's too far out. Robinson really just out of desperation because he knows game's over. He's going to do everything he can to try to sell it. And call goes against the Cardinals, and this game is over.
Post-game show next.